I don't want to be a referee in this NFL. And to be honest, you're kind of pushing me away as being a fan. If you guys want Pro Bowl rules, because that's what it looks like, then you lost me. I'm not going to be watching the NFL much more if this continues.
Just take it away from him. Under 4 left. The barn is alive again.
Yeah, it's the Sportshow. Got me in my hormones. All gas, no brakes. Score 4-0. If you think you own this place, you get foreclosed. I've been in my head, but it's not
This
about
one.
a T3.
And clap for the Amy. Because, ladies and gentlemen, episode 300. Yeah. Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You are listening to The Sports Show. The Sports Show, which you can stream, listen, download, like, subscribe, and love on any of these channels. And please do it. YouTube.
Hey.
At Sports Show Podcast. Instagram. Same thing. At Sports Show Podcast.
Yeah.
It's a blue and white logo. Jamie, welcome.
Hey.
He's new.
He's new.
He's new to the game.
That's
and
right.
we're going to get at you at the ACT next as well. Spotify, Podbean, CJSW 90.9 FM, the third Tuesday of every single month.
That's right.
We're national.
We're live.
We're
Unlive.
global.
Huge.
We're getting nothing but better. We've got years under our belts and episodes in our repertoire. 300 be thy name. It's fitting because we're Greeks,
That's
the
right.
300 Spartans.
Hey.
It was at this point in time in
Right.
which they broke through and they broke out and they defended their honor and made history. And that's what we're trying to do here today, just one download at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't come with anything else but saying thank you to all of you that have been listening to us, whether you were an OG like you, South Carolina, George, Agent Ange, old cousin Jim, from the real locker room talk days, or even when we changed the show to the Sports Show, when we got onto the CJSW and we got everyone else from the Cam who's listening to the show, to all of these major players, and then the alternate commentary table and Mike McGuire and all that fun stuff that we do as well. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It's been great because each week we come in, we love doing it. And, I think it's starting to get a little dusty in here.
There's something in there. That's right.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Thanks to everybody, man. I mean, from day one, we told you guys a little bit of the story last week. We started literally at a kitchen table. Well, kind of a sleazy back wall at the church. Then the kitchen table. Then all the way to Alchemy Studios. Here now at the University of Calgary in a studio. And we've been doing this for 300 episodes. And along the way, I mean, it's a spoiler alert. Later on, Maga Malaka, we are going to go through some of the old episodes and have a little laugh. And as I was going through them, you guys, I started laughing so hard. This show was created on the premise, we love sports, let's talk sports. But then Dimitri and I really quickly realized we're not stat guys. We don't want to be the stat guys. Stats are important, and we do talk about them here and there. But it's more the reality of what sports is. It's a little bit of humor, a little bit of fun, and that's all it's supposed to be, and that's what this show's about. So when you got the big data, the Captain Morpheus, the Swiss Army Larry, all these great people that have come on the show, they come on because they want to have fun. You guys listen, I think, because you guys want to have fun. And if you're getting all your information here, mix it up a little bit because you're probably getting some things wrong.
Well, yeah, exactly. I wouldn't, the validity of what we say is questionable at times. However, it is really true. We have a lot of fun doing this. And yes, it started, I remember it was the sleazy back wall at church, right? Where we're like, oh, we want to do this, we want to do this. Mitch, you ended up going on holidays to Greece. And it's funny because no one realizes how much of a how serious we were without realizing we were serious, because the conversation was, okay, when I come back from Greece, why don't we go do this?
Which is every indication that this is not happening.
Exactly. It's like, okay, well, when do you come back? And I remember it was like mid-September.
Yeah.
It was something like that. Okay. So you're right. At that point, you're like, we'll see where it dies. No, it was, so we ready to do this? Yeah. I had bought this microphone. We're at your kitchen table. We did 2 archive episodes.
That's right.
Just to see, do we got something going on?
The sampling was good. We should, reissue it out. Just for the point of view, the sound's bad, but the material is actually pretty good.
The material is pretty good. We realized we got something there, and then Mitch pivoted, and we went to Alchemy Studios with Jeff, which was, I got to say, that first the first few years, dude. Like that was fun.
Yeah. Oh, it was
because
very
with
much fun.
Alchemy Studios was Jeff.
Yeah.
And then there was Joey's.
That's right.
Afterwards as
The
well.
Rose Review.
The Rose Review. Marketing Matt. How could we forget?
The Macklin Minute.
The Macklin Minute.
The 60-second snap count. Like, there's been a lot of segments that we've created. Worked, didn't work. And to say that we're not going to change it up again would be a lie. It'll happen again. It's just what's working is working right now, and we're running with that. But
to all you podcasters out there as well, anyone who's thinking of starting a podcast, I can tell you right now.
Don't do it.
Maybe don't do it. But unless you're willing to do 100 episodes.
That's right.
100%. Minimum to figure out your style. If you're not committed to 100, don't bother.
I agree. You know, it's funny because old cousin Jim actually, just a couple days ago, he asked me, he's like, so what's the end goal here? And you know what's funny? I mean, obviously the end goal for Dimitri and I is to, to have our own show, to do something on one of the major channels, a sport channel or something, right? Somebody pick us up. But, I thought about it more because the question, if Jim's asking, it means maybe everyone's asking it.
For
right?
sure.
And I say to myself, you know what? From where we started and where we are, we really have made a trajectory. It's a pretty big one. It doesn't maybe seem that way, but guys, I'm telling you, from a kitchen table to literally using my phone as the microphone, to getting professional phones, to working with Jeff and having a guy like edit for us. And then, the only thing we've always missed, but we kind of have it, now we have it with Amy, is the editing and all that stuff. It's just, if we had more time, you guys would get a lot more content. That's just the other thing. But now we're at the university. We have a show on the radio. So we're almost there. It's coming. It's just now it's a matter of getting over
it's
that
funny
next
because people will always ask, they're like, well, what are you guys doing? You go in and first and foremost, we love it. Like you're not going to do 300 episodes of something if you don't legitimately love and go do it. Like I say, okay, so we do the sports show, then we have the alternate commentary table for the wrestling feed, and then after that we have the Greek hour that we do, and we bundle it up all on a Saturday. And I just argue to everyone, I say, well, this is okay, what's the worst that happens? I meet with one of my good friends to have a coffee and talk about the 3 topics I love talking about every day in my life anyways, about sports, wrestling, and being Greek. And then when people get here and they do one, they quickly understand
very much so.
When they leave and go back and say, oh, so, okay, this is our hobby, you guys. This is what we like to do. So for all of you that, okay, if you golf or you do your jiu-jitsu or you do hot yoga, I would say you're not monetizing doing something that you like to do either. That's no one could piece that together but what I realize about podcasting, and then we'll move in, is this. It's in the same league as the comedians. We just did commentary for Dungeon Wrestling yesterday. It's the same league as wrestlers. It's the same league as actors. There's so many people just trying to do it. There's so much stuff out there. It's really hard to break it, but you got to stay committed.
That one's the big one. The Dungeon Wrestling one. I mean, I remember being a young man watching Stampede Wrestling here in Calgary on a Saturday right after Greek school. Ed Whalen. And I would say to myself, that's who I want to be. And then years later, I go into different routes, and then somehow I end up here. Granted, I took the long road, but Dimitri and I are now here. Yeah, and I mean, buddy, we were in, and we've been doing it now, the Pavilion, where the legendary Bret Hart was created, where all these superstars were created, and Dimitri and I. So to answer your question, old cousin Jim, there it is, man. We do it. We're there. We're there. And we just got, and we're going even further. Yeah.
Said to Mitch and I.
Hey.
He said it.
Listen to this.
Goes, thanks for doing this again. You guys continually get better and better each time. Hey. Brett.
Hey.
Hitman.
Heart. That's it. So yesterday, day before that, I was perusing the nets.
Here we go. Listen to this.
So normally I try to find some fun little, storyline to play with, but I'm going to start with one that we're going to start with a little controversy right off the bat, Dimitri. Here we go. Episode 300. We start with a bang. So you got the Shohei Ohtani. He's the baseball player that they basically gave $700 million to in the offseason to go join the LA Dodgers. Earlier this year, you got a guy named Shane Pinto from the Ottawa Senators who got suspended for 41 games for sports betting. And now the Toronto Raptors got a guy, Jonte Porter. He is being investigated for basically point shaving kind of idea that's going on. And I kind of brought it up because it's a story and it's kind of in the corner, but a lot of people are not kind of, I think, maybe bringing it to more fruition. Dude, sports betting is real. So going back to Shohei, his interpreter apparently, is on record saying, yeah, I stole $4.5 million. I had a betting problem and I needed the money, and so I stole it from him. Or did he? Pete Rose comes out this week and says, man, I wish I had an interpreter back in the day. Maybe I could have got away with this. I'm going to start right off the bat and just say this. Dimitri, with all this is baseball, this is hockey, this is basketball, and we've had football, Ridley. So all major sports now have had a major issue in the last little while. What are your thoughts right off the bat with regards to if you get caught sports betting, should you maybe just be absolutely, you get caught, you're done, you're gone? Because I think that's the only way you can get around this.
Okay. First and foremost, Color Rush shocked. Mm-hmm. What? Players have been betting on sports and being influenced? The one thing when we look at a game and say the fix has got to be in?
That's right.
You mean to tell me that there was a fix? Oh, wow. Whoa. This is new to me. And on top of it, we're finding out because now the world has made it easier for these people to do it. FanDuels and online gambling and legalized betting. For crying out loud, you're going to be allowed to bet on WWE. That's scripted. The script's going to get leaked, and then everyone's going to...
100%.
I mean, come on. Here's the thing, though. With all that, you might think that I'm going the route of saying, take it easy.
Yeah.
It's easy for them to bet, blah, blah, blah. But no, and no. I do not want any of the players that I'm watching betting in any capacity on themselves and, dare I say, on any game. Because what's to say that they wouldn't? Let's call it what it is without saying it. His interpreter was betting?
Sure.
Right. Okay. When Pete Rose is coming out and saying,
and he got your how did he get his hands on $4.5 million?
How did he get it? Come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got your PIN number too?
To Mitch's point, life ban.
Life ban, man.
Okay. Like it's the equivalent of first degree murder in the sports world. If you're caught betting, if you're caught in any capacity like that, it's a lifetime ban. The only thing that I'll accept.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I won't even accept that. I was going to say, sometimes, if a fighter wants to bet on himself to win.
You're just opening the door.
But if you allow one, then you start getting stipulations. So to me, no. Why? No, you guys. This is the very thing that we get frustrated with. Why did you miss a 20-yard field goal?
That's right. Exactly. See, now everything, and that's why these conspiracy theorists, both in sports and in the real world, get so hyperactive because they see stories like this, and then they're like, oh, so he missed it because he probably had 50 G's on the game or something like that. Here's the thing, sports guys. You guys have lived a lavish life. Don't get me wrong, meaning, did you work your butt off to get where you are? Absolutely. There's no denying. But it's the minute you get there, you think making 50 G's on the side is better than making the millions you make on your contract? It doesn't make any sense to me. You want to cheat? Do the PEDs. We're totally for that.
Totally.
Hey, you want to do the roids? You want to do all that stuff to be better so you can make more money? Do it.
Mitch and I will administer it for you.
I will pull down your pants and inject you like that. Done. No problems whatsoever. Zero. But to tell me that a guy like Jonte Porter is missing baskets when he's a utility player / maybe a starter with the Raptors right now. But if you're not happy with your contract, Jonte, buddy, I guarantee you get a job at Safeway. I'm sure you're going to really see what it's about. I just don't have any compassion here. Zero at all.
Zero.
I get you guys might be a little bored. You guys got off days. Hey, start a podcast.
Hold on a second.
There you go.
But Mitch,
get a hobby. I don't know.
But Mitch, people, and this is why I say where people say, well, why are they making it easier for everyone? Why are they doing this? Okay, the last time I checked, nobody wants to go to a restaurant that serves alcohol and have their server or someone who's working in the kitchen drunk. Okay.
That's right.
So sorry. What are you going to say? Well, if the restaurant didn't have a whole bar behind them of accessible alcohol, it's not their fault. No, You don't drink on the job.
That's right.
Okay? If you're a truck driver or whatever it is, if you're Jablonski himself.
The Jablonski.
But the point is, so don't give me that. Like, no, you're not allowed to bet on sports. You're not allowed to drink on the job. You're not allowed to smoke on the job. You're not allowed to, whatever it is that you're doing. No, no, and no.
That's right.
So I think full lifetime ban.
Yeah.
You get caught.
You're gone.
You're done. And you know what? How can a guy like Ohtani, and let's be honest right now, $700 million, and
right.
you're going to throw it away on a prop bet?
That's right. Now, remember, he's deferring all that money basically to the end of it.
Man.
No, I know, but Dimitri, that's your problem, bro. You didn't want to take that money up front to pay the taxes. That's your problem. You're getting all that money on the back end. So don't give me this, well, I need a little extra, I got a guma over here. I got to take it. No, hey. You wanted it this way.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. You wanted it this way.
Absolutely.
That's right. Listen, speaking of that, let's get over to the NHL. Buddy, 10 games remain.
Ooh.
We are down to the final week, basically. And you know what? It is tight all the way around. Right now, as we speak here on March 30th, 31st? 30th today. The New York Rangers are the number one team in the NHL. The New York Rangers?
The Rangers.
Number one team in the NHL, but right behind, coming around the corner of the Dallas Stars, and around the corner, look at Boston coming down the line. It's crazy. The number one teams are stacked at the top, but it really doesn't mean anything. We'll talk about that in a minute. Last week, we talked about the fakers. This week, we're talking about the makers.
Oh.
Are they really the makers?
Okay.
Dimitri, we go right into it. Let's start with the Rangers. So last week, we put the Rangers on the faker list, but you are the number one team in the NHL. Were we wrong about maybe not calling them fakers? Maybe they're makers. Thoughts on the makers?
I stand by what I say until you prove me otherwise, because when you get into the playoffs, it's a different demon. So Boston, New York. Okay, I'm talking to the two of you. Original 6 teams. You're fakers until proven makers.
See, I think I might change it around and give the Rangers a little bit of leeway. The Boston, I'm with you. They've, for 2-3, at least the last 2 years, all they've shown us, 3 years. 3 years, they've shown us that they're great in the regular season, they get into the playoffs, and something falls off. So Boston, you're still in the faker category. I'm going to give the Rangers a little bit of slack. You know why? They went into Colorado this week and took them to overtime, went to a shootout, and ended up breaking McKinnon's point streak that he was having.
Yeah.
I got it, and now it's Shesterkin playing a lot better. Knowing this team, no one's taking them really serious. I mean, they're the number one team in the NHL, and no one's giving them any respect, and maybe I need to be that guy. Maybe I need to
Someone's
be that
gotta
guy.
do it.
To give those Rangers some respect.
Someone has to trek in the snow first, and Mitch be thy name.
I will do it. Rangers, you're the makers.
I will say this.
Yeah.
I have no problem. Like, the Rangers could win the Stanley Cup, you guys. They have the team. They're an incredible team.
Yeah.
It's just, you gotta, what have you done? What have you done for me lately? You gotta prove it. So I'm not going to sit here and say, color me shocked. Right? Because on the flip side, it's a double-edged sword. You could pick right now and say the Rangers are going to win the Stanley Cup, and they could. They have the team to do it. But they got to get in there and they got to prove it now. But the competition is so high.
Yes. 100%.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. Well, speaking of a lot of talent, let's go over to the western side of the board as well. The Dallas Stars. You called it from a couple of weeks ago, and I'm still sitting on him going, he called it from then. So if that's your team, next week we will be going through the list because it'll probably be, solidified of who's going into the playoffs. But Dallas, right now in the West, the number one team. They surpassed, let's say, Vancouver. Is Dallas a maker?
Dallas is a maker. And because they at least have been to the Stanley Cup final, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Okay. But the thing that I love about what's going on in Dallas is you don't hear a lot about Ben. Mm-hmm. You don't hear a lot about Sagan. You don't hear a lot about the guys that have been there for a long time.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden you show up into the playoffs, because now it's Robertson and Pavelski and a lot of the young guys. Okay, but I'm telling you guys, the thing with Dallas is the same thing that's really with the Rangers and all of them too. Unfortunately, you gotta go through a Colorado.
Yeah,
you gotta go through a Vegas potentially. You gotta go through a lot of these teams like they're so 1A, 1B
Right.
in the slightest of margins that Dallas could be out in the first round and be like, well, there goes my pick. But it's because they just lost to an incredible team, right? So you guys, to me, they're makers. I'm telling you, I'm still riding it.
I got Dallas a lot like a fart in inflation, silent but deadly. That's what I
Fair
think.
point.
Yeah, that's how I put them. They're tough. They're tough all the way around. We don't see them a lot. We should see them more because we're here in Calgary, meaning we should know more about them. But they're like a government agent. They're just in the background and they're good, and you know they're good. Yeah. And for some reason, we're not taking them as serious as we should. Colorado is the next one on my list. Maker or faker?
It's a maker, man. They're a recent Stanley Cup champion as well, and they haven't slowed down.
Right.
Especially when you have a robust roster, you win the cup, and then you have to make changes on the team, and some people do have to go, and you keep your core people, and you bring some new people in, and you're still getting top-end results.
Yeah.
Your best player is still your best player. You're still vying for a division lead. You're still doing a lot of these things that are getting you there, and people are looking at you as a cup favorite and or contender.
Why is it that I get this inkling, though? Like, to your point, they won the cup a couple of years ago. You got McKinnon's, who's literally a point or even maybe tied for the lead in scoring this year. Makar hasn't had that crazy year, but still literally, if not 1A, 1B, best defenseman in the league.
Sure.
Goaltending's a little suspect, but why is it that I feel like they just don't gel? Remember when the All-Star game was around and they were picking McKinnon and Makar? We were joking around thinking they actually don't know each other. They were like, oh, you're on the Colorado. Oh, so am I. Where's your dressing room? I do feel like there's a little... This team isn't the same team that it was a couple years ago. I'm going with faker, not a maker on this one, because I think they're missing something. I really do. I just don't know what it is, but in the dressing room, I feel like there's a little bit of a, I don't know. There's just that camaraderie's not there.
Yeah, I get it, but I don't. Yeah, that's where I disagree. I don't know if they're not as good or they're not gelling. I wouldn't. They're still makers because they can do it. I see what you're saying.
You know what, dude? If there's one thing that me and you over the last year, especially in hockey, have been watching and saying, the bottom six of any team that wins the Stanley Cup has to be your best players in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? And right now, I just don't know maybe enough about the Colorado bottom six, but I don't even think they know each other. So that's why I'm going with that.
Fair enough.
Let's jump over to Vancouver. Vancouver has been very silent. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing right now. Still the best team in the Pacific. They're going to be the number one seed in the Pacific. That's not a problem. But I don't know what to think of Vancouver right now. And based on the results right now, they might have to take on a Nashville in the first round.
That's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
I always say when you come out of the woodwork, the best place to start is actually to punch the big bully in the mouth,
right,
and then get going. I'm very, very adamant on that.
Yes, I agree. It's like when you're in jail.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I'm very, very adamant on that. And so if you do have to play in Nashville, I don't like that for the Vancouver Canucks that are trying to make
you'll see a
surge and an impact on the playoffs. They've been very consistent.
Yeah.
Their players are doing well, but the LA, Nashville type of team that you get, you don't want to mess with that. I'd rather just say, hey, are we in it? Hey, come over here. Colorado, Dallas, Vegas, come here.
Yeah, you'd rather fight those guys.
I want that first.
If you're the biggest guy in the jail, aren't you always mad when the new guys come in? You're like, oh, great, I get into another fight again.
Right?
Because they must know by now.
They got to know.
They got to know. Like, they're in jail. They're like, why does everyone want to fight me? I'm actually kind of nice. I'm in for fraud. I didn't fight anybody.
It was just 2 counts.
It was 2 counts. Why is everyone fighting me? Yeah, I'm 6'7". It's not my fault.
So what? I stole $4 million to make a bet. You want me on that wall.
All right. What about a Carolina?
Buddy.
They're playing great right now.
Listen, Carolina. There's a few teams out there for me. Okay, it's Toronto.
Yeah,
it's Carolina.
Okay,
it's always going to be Pittsburgh, but they won't make it. But Toronto, Carolina, in my world, are 2 teams that every year, as long as you know me, I will always say are going to win the Stanley Cup. Look, I love it. Look, I respect Carolina. Because they overachieve
right
all the time.
You think they overachieve?
considering on paper what their rosters show,
Right.
and who
Okay,
they're
okay,
up
fair
and
enough.
playing against.
Yeah, okay.
They're so well coached. They're such a good team,
Right.
And I root for them.
Did you know? I'm going to say that I don't know if a lot of people see. This is why the standings last week. You brought up the standings going 1 to 8. I did a little comparison. Carolina right now is the second best team in the NHL. They're second in the Met, but they have the second most points. See, they're with the Rangers. So Rangers are 1. They have 99, and they have more wins technically than Boston. They are literally the number 2 team in the NHL, and no one knows it. No one knows
respect.
It. This is what I'm saying. So this is a good thing for them.
Yeah.
I agree with you. But the problem also is see, this is their problem. Everyone knows they're too quiet. They're too sneaky. And so they're all watching them.
Yeah.
That's why there's a team like Florida that last year came around the corner and hit everyone in the face. That's why Florida, I think, did so well, because no one expected it.
And they're getting people back.
That's right.
They might do it again.
Exactly.
This is a tough team, you guys.
And that's my second last team. Before we get to Florida, actually, let's talk about Florida right now. Florida, maker or faker?
Maker.
100% is a maker.
Yeah, maker.
This is my call right now, and I think I did it a couple of weeks ago. Florida to me right now, and until I see the standings and I want to see who they're going to up against, not that I'm worried if it looks like Toronto, but I'm not worried about that. I think Florida is going to be in the Stanley Cup Finals once again. They remind me of Tampa Bay, their buddies down the street, the younger and slightly nastier version of them.
They got a lot of good things going on there, man.
Oh, man, it's crazy. Last team I want to find out, what do you think of the Winnipeg Jets right now?
You have to put them in the faker category until proven otherwise as well. But again, this is one of those teams that has shown they can beat anybody. It's okay. They're a less skilled on paper Florida Panthers.
That's right.
But every single person on that team plays with some serious grit. They play with some serious grit. And I'm sorry, they got the right coach to do it as well.
They got it all. Literally, and they got a little taste last year. They got a little taste. Lord Stanley's.
We do
that
like
does
this.
taste nice.
You know what?
That's tastes
And to be
nice.
honest with you, it's a nice thing to do in front of all 76 fans.
Hey, I agree.
Okay?
When Brady won it down in Florida and they saw the party they can have, they said, you know what, we wouldn't mind one of those as well.
Looks like a good
And
party.
when Tampa Bay's doing it every other year, it looks like, hey, why not?
Why-
They got to join. See, Florida's a lot like Calgary, where Tampa Bay's like Edmonton, right?
That's right.
Like they got to get their taste now. They got to get a piece.
That's it.
Okay, so last week we talked about it. Look at the current situation. If the playoffs started right now, here's your matchups. But I also wanted to compare what would it be like if we went back to the 1 to the 8. Okay?
Ooh.
So right now, here's the current situation. If you got the number 1 seed Rangers, they'd be taking on the Washington Capitals right now as the wild card 2. That's pretty crazy. Not bad of a matchup. Boston would take Tampa Bay. Okay. I'm okay with that. Upset special, by the way. Florida versus Toronto. Sorry, Toronto. Like, Toronto, you just can't. Nothing ever works for you guys. And then Carolina, Philly. It would look like that's the easiest path.
Fun.
Right? Over in the West, you got Dallas taking on the LA Kings as wild card 2. Vancouver takes on Nashville. I don't like that matchup right now. Especially Nashville, hottest team in the NHL. Colorado takes on Winnipeg. So you got two teams kicking the crap at each other for 7 games. And then you got Edmonton, Vegas. I also don't like that one for Edmonton. I'm just being honest. But let's go old ways. Let's say we did the old 1 to 8. It would again be the Rangers taking on the Washington, no problem. Carolina this time against Philly, so it kind of worked out. Boston, though, Tampa Bay, and Florida, Toronto. So it would be all the same, but the 3 and the 4s would be flipped around.
Okay.
In the West, it's Dallas, LA Kings, Colorado, Vegas. Ooh, not too bad. Vancouver, Nashville, we already said, and Edmonton, Winnipeg to round out in the old school ways of the 4 versus the 5.
I don't like that for Edmonton.
Edmonton doesn't look great right now in the scenarios that we've laid out here.
I refuse to talk anymore about the Edmonton Oilers.
Right.
But I'm just going to patiently wait and see.
I'm going to jump over to the Sportshow Power Rankings.
God, I love this.
It's brought to you by Sinatra's. 403-455-7222. 15% off. Nick's giving away the pizza. That's all I'm saying. He's giving it away.
It's a good pizza.
It's our fault. We're sorry, Nick. Episode 300. Order 300 pizzas. Don't be cheap. Go and get yourself
Do it.
300 pizzas.
Yeah.
At number 5, it's the Nashville Predators. Dude, they just came off an 18-game point streak. This team went to Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago. They called the coach. They go, Coach, can we go to Vegas early because we want to go to the U2 in that dome, that new
the
sphere. Well, they got their asses whooped by Vegas the night before. They're thinking they're going to the concert the next night. Coach and GM come in, trots. You guys aren't going anywhere after that performance. They shut off the tap, and they go on the 18-game streak.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What, tough love works all of a sudden instead of the whole kumbaya, oh, you gave your best? Listen, just like the catfish that goes on in Nashville, they're catfishing the league. They're presenting themselves to be something they're not. But once you show up, I'm telling you, it's danger time.
I agree. At number 4, it's the Carolina Hurricanes. The Gunsel is maybe the hottest pickup since the free agency. Big time. Under the radar. But at number 3, it's the Tampa Bay Lightning, who said, hey, wait a minute. Playoffs? We like the playoffs. We're coming. Duclair is actually the best free agent pickup since the pickups. At number 2, again, I'm putting my name on it. I'm going to give those Rangers some respect. Those Rangers are at number 2, and at number 1, it's Dallas. They're in a 6-game heater, and they're only 1 point up in their division. This team, I'm telling you, Maron, they can't get away. This team, neither one of them. That is like a horse race. They really got to make it like instead of giving us the standings, make them like little horses in the paper or in the website where they're moving up and down. That would be more fun to watch.
Such good hockey.
Yeah,
such good hockey being played right now.
So good. So hockey's basically ending the regular season, and the best time of the season, the first round of the playoffs, is around the corner. Baseball started.
Awesome. Okay, what else you got?
Just a little. That's all I got.
Jays are 1-0.
1-0. Way to go, guys. Way to go, boys. The Dodgers are favored to win the World Series this year. Just a little FYI. They spent $1 billion in the offseason. I'm not joking. $1 billion in the offseason. By the way, really funny. Don't you think it's funny that Ohani hits right after Betts? Mookie Betts. Isn't that? Come on. Like, anybody that doesn't think God doesn't have a sense of humor. Come on.
Who's putting this together?
Who did it?
Come on.
I'm just saying. That's pretty good. That's it.
Can he just change his nickname to the Interpreter?
Okay, I want to see if you know this. Who won the World Series last year? I want to see if you remember.
Can't remember.
So I'm perusing the nets, right? And I'm looking at and I happen to follow the baseball, and I see it's opening weekend, so they're doing the intros, and it's the Rangers taking on who are they playing? I can't remember. The Orioles, I think, or something, right? And I'm watching, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Now get together, we're pulling down the banner," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, the Rangers won the World Series last year, buddy." It was I'm so sad that baseball has got to the point where I can't. Not just me. I think even the fans were like, "Oh yes." Yes, of course. That's why we're here. Yes, of course. Yes. Congratulations to the Texas Rangers.
You want to know something, baseball fan? You want to know why I think all you guys are full of crap, how much you love that sport? Because every single one of you, especially Jays fans, are like, oh, Jays in 30 is the best. You don't even want to put all the time into it. You want the fast track version, all that. And I'll tell you something, you baseball fan, you talk about all you guys are the same. It's like trivia night, okay? It's like useless trivia night. You guys just all get together and talk about the things you know, which means you don't know what you know, but you want to talk about it like you know.
Right.
So don't give me that crap, because a hockey fan doesn't do it. A basketball fan doesn't do it. No one does it. But you guys are like, oh, well, the statistics on the right and left there, and he's got a 348 batting average, and when they did the signing
348
and the rotation. Explain to me the rotation. All you rotation people, explain to me the rotation. You don't know nothing about rotation, but you get to the bar and you're like, well, the rotation. Shut up.
No, man. They killed the switch. You can't do the switch.
And the new rules. And then, well, buddy, come on.
Buddy, think about baseball.
Get out of here.
If you're hitting 250, you're hitting 250. 25% of the balls that are being thrown at you, you're hitting. Meaning you're missing 75% of the balls. So baseball is the best sport in the world. I don't care what anybody says. You get paid millions of dollars to do literally less than half of what you should be doing.
Oh, baseball fan. Get out of here.
Steph Curry shoots from 23 feet away and hits almost 50% of his shots with a 7-footer in his face. Yeah. In baseball, if you hit a ball that's curving slightly or a lot, whatever, you're considered a god. I'm just saying.
Listen, I want people to put their money where their mouth is. I want the cricket players and the baseball players, I want them to switch. Because I want to see.
I'd like to see that.
Because I think cricket's underappreciated. They don't even use gloves, you guys. And they're using like a billiard ball to play.
That's true. That would hurt the hand.
That could hurt the hand.
It's a lot of vibration.
Builds toughness.
All right, one last thing. The NFL, they got all their general managers and they got all the guys down in Boca, and they're going through the rules.
Right.
And, buddy, they just changed. So the one rule, they're doing kickoffs a little different this year, which I think is going to be good. They're doing XFL rules. They're kicking from the 35. The players will start running at it. It's to lessen the impact, and it's going to make it more fun. I think that's okay. But the new rule that has caused a big rough, and I'm being dead serious right now, I don't know how much more football I have left in me to watch when this rule gets implemented. They just changed the rule. You can't hip tackle. So if a guy's running with the ball, you are somehow supposed to not wrap your arms around him and bring him down by his hips. I don't know what all the defensive players are upset because they can't even hit now. They can't do anything. And now you're throwing this into it. I don't know how easy this will be to call as a referee. I don't want to be a referee in this NFL. And to be honest, you're kind of pushing me away as being a fan. If you guys want Pro Bowl rules, because that's what it looks like, then you lost me. I'm not going to be watching the NFL much more if this continues. And you're talking to a fantasy champ, 2-time.
2-time.
3-time over here.
3-time.
I can't do this. I can't, Dimitri. I can't. This is not football anymore.
This will mark my words. This will be rescinded.
I hope so, man.
It will be, because if there's one thing that the NFL does love is money, and revenue.
That's good.
And fan and all of that stuff. And this right here, there's going to be such a disgust from the players, from the fans.
Agreed.
People are not going to start watching. And you know who benefits from this kind of stuff? I'm not joking you. Yeah. It's leagues like the CFL, like the USFL, like the other leagues where they can go back and if I'm those leagues, you better promote the shit out of hard-nosed football, because this is your way to get a little bit of market share in the offseason or during the season. I'm telling you right now, this is what you're going to do. This is going to absolutely ruin the game of football. Okay, first of all, rushing the passer disgusts us every time that it happens.
That's right.
Okay? The head-on-head, I get it, okay? But even then, when a guy is ducking down and they throw that 15-yard or whatever the penalty is at the time, you guys, we hate it. The kicker, like everything. And now, okay, flag football, is this what we want?
Like that's what it's become.
Like the thing too now is this is where I'm worried. They don't want the hip tackle.
Right.
But they'll still allow the shoelace tackle, where, in my opinion, more injuries are going to come from ankle sprains.
Dude, so you can't horse collar tackle, which, again, I don't like, because guys, listen, I played a little defense. I didn't play a lot. I played more offense, but it doesn't matter. If a guy gets in front of you, so now you're basically, what they're saying is, if the guy passes you, you're done. You can't do anything.
You can't do anything.
So what this is all supporting is offense. I get it. Points, put butts in the seats to some degree. But this kind of football that you guys are putting together, it's not fun for anybody. It's not fun for the players because they can't do what they've been trained to do. Yep. And it's not fun for the fan. And for the bettors, it's very complicated. Like, how is Ohani, who's trying to learn a language, going to learn to put prop bets
how's he going to bet on this?
Allegedly. How is he going to do this? How is his interpreter going to explain in English or Japanese that this is not the right way to do it?
It's dude, it's absolutely
horrible,
brutal.
Man. It's horrible.
It's absolutely brutal.
And the last thing I want to just say is this. I don't want to see anyone get hurt, but at the same time, that's what you guys signed up for. You knew what you were guys getting into. They took away the headshots. That's totally understandable.
I get it.
But to take away every other aspect of your body, sorry, that's what you signed up for. I don't want to see you going and working at a grocery store after making a $20 million. But when a lot of your contracts are upfront money now, hey, this is
it's stupid, man.
There's tougher things in this world, guys, than maybe a broken ankle or whatever the case may be. Sorry,
Mitch, it's dumb. What's now? Like, what are they going to go in boxing? You can box, but you just can't jab.
And the other thing, what does that say? Face shots.
There you go.
You just did it.
See, I just did it.
Did it.
Did it. This is why.
This is what they're saying in boxing. No more. Yeah, no more face shots.
No more face shots.
Yeah.
Only body. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. Guys,
Come
we
on.
got to. Here's the other thing, too. The pass interference has gotten so ludicrous that now I hate when teams play for penalties. I hate it.
Yeah.
Instead of playing for the game. Teams are playing for pass interference. Teams are going to play for penalties now, and it's going to be annoying. The game's, I'm telling you, they'll do it for a year. They'll take it back.
I hope so.
They'll take it back.
You know what they're never going to take back? Ever from us? Reps. See my poker face there?
I saw it.
More exciting, goalie fight or girl fights?
Goalie girl fights.
That literally, I'm like so turned on right now. McDavid, McKinnon, and the Cooch are 2 points separated as top scorers in the league. Who will win this scoring race?
You talked about horses, McDavid. He's going to top it off.
The remake of Roadhouse came out, and Conor McGregor's in it. More anticipation to watch this movie or the return to the octagon.
Now I understand why he beefed himself up.
Now I get it. Second last one. Chick-fil-A is changing its chicken. Are you worried, or is this a good change?
What?
Why are they changing the chicken? I don't understand.
What was wrong with the chicken?
Yeah, well, I mean, isn't that like why you guys are popular? Your chicken's good?
Like, your Chick-fil-A.
Hey, we're selling too many of these. Hey! What the hell is going on? Change the chicken. Last one. What's more scarier? 1 round with Mike Tyson or 2 nights at Diddy's house?
Two nights at Diddy's house. And even that's a lot, buddy. Buddy, you caught me off guard with that one.
There you go.
What's
Rapid
happening?
banter.
What's
Rapid
happening over
banter.
there?
Listen, I was perusing the net hard. When you got to leave the country, you were up to something, sir.
Buddy, Diddy's like, I'll fight Tyson. Jake, take a day off. I'll fight him. I'll do
I'll fight
anything.
him. Oh, in a different country? What's the extradition rules out there? Yeah, let me go there. Oh boy, Diddy. You know, there's another guy. You have it all. What are you doing? What are you doing? Lay a bet. You can lay bets. Go and do Malakias.
More money, more problems.
All right, we said it at the beginning, we said it at the end. Listen, this is episode 300. So what I did, I went through the nets. I went from episode 1 all the way up. I looked at, now here's a little FYI. I normally didn't do this. Me and Dimitri always put together like the pod, but Dimitri's the master of putting the titles and kind of the little snippets, and I never read them because I know what the pod's about when we do them. But when you go back and you forget some things, ladies and gentlemen, here's some of the titles and some of the episodes that I recommend. If you love us this much, go back and have some fun. Are you ready? Maga or Malaka.
Really?
Sports show titles.
Okay.
and
I
episodes.
like this.
Number 1, the None of It Beavers. Episode 247. It wasn't that long ago. The None of It Beavers
The None of It
showcase.
Beavers. Maga.
Maga.
Oh,
That was a
man,
great episode.
we laughed hard at that one.
There's one that happened during COVID. It was one of the best ones, and this one went for a little while. It's Feeding the Geese, episode 140. And yes, it's that. Yes, it's the Dubin. It's the Dubin.
It was the tubing. That's right.
That's right.
Yeah. So the feeding the geese. The funny part is you were so caught off guard because you had never really
never heard that.
phrase
Yeah,
before.
love it.
And you just couldn't stop for weeks
Oh.
about it. Maga.
I still use it.
Feeding the
Anywhere I can, I use it.
Because when you do the motion
Absolutely.
of feeding the geese.
Episode 72. Wait a minute. That one sounds iconic. It is because we started a movement. Hashtag free Spanos. Maga or Malaka.
Maga.
Of course.
We really did a service.
A service.
For the Spanos family.
For the Spanoses. Episode 152. You know I love my names. Everyone knows, and Dimitri knows the names, but we also did some porn names back in the day. Buster Hyman at 152.
It's still a classic.
That was a classic.
Buster.
Write that one down, George. Write that one down.
Maga.
On episode 158, what happened was I got into an argument with you, and I think we had somebody on the show that day. We got into a fight about cheeses. It's Cheesegate, is specifically the Irish cheese. There is such a thing. You guys were calling me out on it. The Irish cheese is a real thing.
I do remember that. I think that was in Alchemy, was it
I think
not?
it was. I think you're right.
Yeah, and you were saying
158 it
the
must have been,
Irish
yeah.
cheese, and
The Irish
I
cheese.
thought you were full of it.
No, it's a real thing. The
It's like Irish cheese.
That's right.
Yeah.
This started.
Wow.
This is another thing that started. It must have started at this episode because it's the title of it. Episode 170. We call it out on all the players. It's like our little thing. If you got it, you have it. If you don't, you don't. It's the killer instinct.
Maga, because it's been a common theme from that day and forward.
Now, this one I could not remember for the life of me why we called it why I got to go. I'm literally going to go back and listen to it probably later on today. Where is it? Episode 254. So it wasn't that long ago. Handy Randy and the Reverse Train.
Enough said. Maga, just go listen.
Maga.
I'm not even queuing it.
Maga.
Go to Handy Randy in the Reverse Train. You can't listen. These are the episodes that we come up with.
This is it. Couple more. 255. It's what started the Good Amy. It's called the Good Amy. 255. That's where we were trying to get her. Trying to find her a nice Jewish boy.
That's right.
And it started a whole bunch of controversy.
Not
over
even
here.
then on the CJSW
That's
show
right.
as well. We actually got a complaint on that episode.
You know what? We're just trying to find her love.
Yeah.
Is that
whatever.
what's your problem, buddy?
Yeah.
All right.
Whoever you are, you loser.
This one is maybe the best episode of all time in my eyes. Okay. Old cousin Jim brings it up all the time. It's episode 194. It's the Hall of Shame. It's
Which
the
one?
Jablonski. It's the Jablonski
Was that-
episode.
was
I
that
found
the-
it.
you
After
found
all
it?
this time, I found it.
The I-45. A whole highway of dildas. Jablonski is there.
Two more. Episode 2. So we start on the kitchen table. That's fine. We did 2 episodes there. Those are not counted in the number. Okay?
Right.
Then we went to Alchemy Studio. We did 1 episode, and then we did the second one. The name of the second episode was Nina Hartley or August Ames as your goaltender. Episode 2.
We started off hot.
That
That's what
was-
we were trying to fit. That was
A lot of people called us on that one and said they loved that. They
Yes.
loved it. I remember to this day.
That's right.
People going, "That's hilarious that you guys would." And then Dimitri ended up going to the AVMs
That's right.
and meeting the Brandy Love
Brandy Love and Nina Hartley.
and Nina Hartley.
Right?
Nina
And-
was my goalie.
But remember, I got the video of Nina Hartley
Yes,
saying to you, Mitch, thank you for choosing me, because you chose Nina Hartley as your goaltender.
that's
as
right.
your starting
That's 100%.
goalie.
Yes.
Right? I took Brandy Love.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But the thing was, because August Ames, well, we had to redraft.
We had the redraft.
There was a tragedy
there.
in the adult entertainment world.
And here's the last one. It's not the best one, but it's the one that literally broke us off the iTunes. It's Experience Regina. We're still trying to figure out what we did wrong.
Nothing. We didn't do anything wrong. Who doesn't love the Regina?
Episode 252, Experience Regina. I mean, Regina's the best.
Exactly. You know what I love about Regina? It's not a lot of trees. There's not a lot of bush.
That's right.
It's just a
Nice, flat,
great plain.
great plane.
Good people.
Great people. A lot of people.
A lot of people.
There it is. Episode 300 is in the books. And you know what, man? I'm looking to do another 300.
Let's
if you're
do
down.
another.
If you're down. partner.
I'm down.
Let's do it.
I'm downtown, baby. Listen, I'm down to do another 300 episodes. I'm down for all of you to subscribe to the channels. I'm down for all of you to be there with the ride. Old comers, current comers, newcomers, just like Regina. Anyway, hey! Keep it clean. This is one for the books. We do got to shove it in the locker because we do got to hit the showers.
I'm just saying. Just the one-up guy, if anyone's there,
Yep.
episode 199. And LeBron Claude Van Damme. Like, what the hell were we talking about that one?
We didn't even get through the Terry Fox one.
Terry? Okay. I can't remember. I'll find it for next week. I couldn't find it because we were out doing the dungeon yesterday.
Yeah, we got to find it.
But that one might be the best episode
We have
of
to
all
find
time.
it and run the clip because I'm surprised iTunes might have kicked us off for the Regina.
Right.
They just didn't hear about what you had to say about Terry Fox.
What I said about he's a national treasure. Everyone knows my feelings on the Terry Fox.
I just said that he didn't. You know what? Whatever. Anyways, bye, guys. We got to go.
See you guys. Bye.
W, we're saved by the bell by the Sports Show, playing every week. Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, Sports Show TV, at Sports Show Podcast. Amy, do it. At Sports Show Podcast.
Locked in.
Because unfortunately, I wouldn't have thought of Terry Fox. But when you think about Terry Fox, you're like,
but did he
pretty good.
Yeah, but Terry didn't even finish the race.
Cut this. Cut the line.
I mean,
Cut the line.